Hi, we're back, and this is video 2 of Sue's, and we've now set up our teams. It's now a matter of going in and scoring the results of the night dependent competition. Again, I've logged in as Camberwell Heat, and I've reduced the screen to make it look more like a mobile phone. And we're recording the results around 6 on the 3rd of April. Okay, so both teams have been entered. I'll just click into Camberwell Heat and see that both teams are sitting there. The opposition score team are also sitting there, ready to add your scores. We'll do the Camberwell Heat sheet first. Go back to that and just make sure you notice that we're entering the scores and breaks for Camberwell Heat. Okay. All right, so let's just start putting a bit of dummy information into here. So Dominic is playing in position 1, so we'll just highlight him. We'll make him a 45, a 41, a 23. Just smoke them if you've got them while they enter some completely fictitious data. So we've entered scores for each of the 3 frames for each of the 4 players. There's also the opportunity to enter breaks for these players. So Karan's got an 84 down there. Had a wonderful match. So just click in the break box and I'll bring up a page where you can enter up to 8 breaks. Obviously, that's not really a snooker scenario, but for bidders, it's not uncommon to have quite a number of breaks. Thing to look at here is that there are limits on the breaks for C grade, which this is the minimum break is 20. For B grade, it's 30, and for A grade, it's 40. So if I try to enter a value under 20, say 15, it's going to tell me that number has to be 20 or greater to be accepted. So we'll give him a 32 break and add that to the score sheet. And you see now that there's a 32 break recorded in that frame for Karan. Okay, so they're the results for Camberwell Heat. It's that easy. We'll now save those scores. Now here's as we were talking about, where it's just as easy for the captain of Camberwell Heat to click over to the opposition score sheet and start entering the scores for the opposition. The opposition captain can be there with his hard copy score sheet and just reading out the scores. So we'll put in some completely fictitious stuff in here as well. Okay. We won't bother with any breaks, so we'll give a meet a break, give him a 21. Okay, so they're the scores for the opposition players, and there's a break for a meet, so I'll save that. Okay, so the next step is to, once we enter the scores and the breaks, is to go to the approvals page. As I said before, this can't be done without both teams being entered. And here's the overall position as a result of all that dummy scores we put in. And it's showing a 7-5 result to Camberwell Heat. So something to be aware of. It must always add to 12. Obviously, in a real life scenario, there would be no draws, but I could quite easily put a draw in there and it would throw up a bit of an anomaly. It wouldn't give us 7-5. But in the real life scenario, that's not going to happen. But it's showing that Dominic has won 1, lost 2, George has won 2 and lost 1, George the other has won 1 and lost 2, and Karan has won all 3 of his. So that's a 7-5 result to the Camberwell Heat. Now the 2 captains will be looking at this page and saying that represents the result of the night. All the scores are correct, all the breaks have been entered. There's still an opportunity to go back in and edit either of these sets of data. So that's where you click on the the blue button at the bottom. But if both captains are happy with that result, then the next part of the process is that they approve their result. Okay, to do that, the home captain, again, as I said before, this is a process that must be done separately. The home captain cannot approve the away captain's result and vice versa. So the two captains have to enter on separate devices and go in and as the final step to approve the results. So I'm logged in as Camberwell Heat at the moment. So I can approve the Camberwell Heat result by clicking on the approve button. It's going to ask for the password, which I hope I've retained. Yes, and that accepted the password. If I tried to put the password of someone else in there, it would have rejected, but it's come and ticked the box on the home captain's approve. There's still opportunity to edit both sheets, but once approvals have started, if you start editing the sheet, then the approvals that have been placed in will be rescinded and you'll have to go back in, approve all again. Okay, now if I try to edit approve the away captains, well, it just doesn't respond because I haven't got the authority to approve that. So what I'm going to do is just pause recording again. I'm going to go in and approve the North Brighton results and return to log in as Camberwell Heat and to finalise the process. So I'll just pause recording for a minute while I do that and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, I've gone in and approved the results for the North Brighton Breakmakers. And you can now see that the home captain approve and away captain approve have both been ticked and they're both greyed. And there's no longer an opportunity to edit the sheets. If there are some errors in the sheets, then that must be passed into me, the score registrar, and I can go back in and make the necessary adjustments. To all intents and purposes, at the end, you've recorded the frame scores and the breaks. And the very last step, which is very important, must stress it's very important, is that you go back into the fixture page and see the outcome of scroll down to round 6, you'll now see that that the result between the Camberwell Heat and North Brighton Breakmakers is all in green, are showing a 7-5 result to Camberwell Heat. The 4-zip is the amount of match points that have been earned by the winning team. And that's it. If you're both green, then all the approvals have been accepted and there's nothing more to do. It has happened a few times that for one reason or another, both approvals don't come through. So if there's something unapproved there, you need to go back in and make sure the approval is done. Okay, so that's pretty much it. There's a little bit of more work to do for the billiards scoring. There's another video for that. That's slightly different, the way that is scored. But as far as the snooker goes, that's pretty much it. So thank you for your attention and good snooker.